Okay, so I bought this fiberglass hull used without any of the hardware, and then I purchased hardware online and put this boat together. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was the remote control, and some people put a rubber band around the trigger to what would normally be like either the brake mode or the reverse mode for a car. It pulls the trigger up into that area so that you have the complete full travel of the trigger to run in a forward speed on a boat. So what I'm going to do today is show you a different way to do it that is a little more reliable. The issue I had was the rubber band didn't always pull the trigger back to its starting position, which would be full brake mode. And so my prop was spinning, and I had to actually hold it into the brake position with my finger just to keep the prop from running when I was trying to take it out of the water. So anyway, we'll move the boat off to the side, and I'll show you what I did, the modification I made to the transmitter to make it work more reliably. So here's the transmitter, and I've got it apart right now so I can show you show you this modification. Okay, so first you want to take these two gray pieces off of the handle, one that's on the front, one that's on the back, and they just clip in. You just have to pry them off. And then take all the screws out and separate the two halves of the transmitter. And then I moved this board out of the way so that I had better access right in this area. And there's this piece that goes across the trigger. I took this screw out, the front screw out, loosened up the rear screw, lifted this up a little and just swung it out of the way so I could get access to everything. And then you just put tension on the spring so that this is up, so you can remove this piece, just lift it off, unhook it from the spring, and then you have this piece. So this is the piece that we're going to make the modification to. So what you want to do is you want to cut a small notch in this corner, the one closest to the pivot point, and that allows the trigger to go all the way up this direction. And then you want to add to this part. And so what I did is it needs to be about 1.75 millimeters, which is the diameter of 3D printing filament. And so I just cut a little piece of 3D printing filament off and just CA glued it to this flat area right here. So once you get that done, put the spring back on here. So there, it's hooked back on. And now just pull the tension on the spring and then slide that back on. So now the trigger goes all the way to brake mode or reverse mode and has this full travel. It's just that one modification to that one plastic part. So now you can just put this back together, put all the screws back in, and that's the modification. So eliminates the need to use a rubber band on the trigger. Alright, so now we just put the screw back in this front of the sprocket, tighten that down, And then tighten up the rear screw that we loosened to rotate it. And then this board goes back into the slot. Like that. And then we just place the other half of the cover back on and install all the screws. There we go. There's a screw that's a screw that holds this handle together where it gets covered up by the gray plastic. So put these screws in first before you snap the plastic back on. Okay, so now I can put these pieces on. Okay. So I'll just finish putting the rest of the screws in to the case. And there's one smaller screw that goes into the area where the antenna sticks up, this plastic area on top. So this is the small screw here, goes into where the antenna is. Okay, so now we have this cover that snaps on. There we go. You'll see how it springs all the way back to the top, this trigger. So there you go. That's how you can modify it without having to use a rubber band to hold it into that braking position. So, stick the batteries back in here. Base back on. Okay, there we go. And that's it. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.